To blow them away. Magician, Galaxy Star beats Gadding and Material Man.
Welcome to Racing Rewind, proudly presented by Sessions, who stands the 22-23 season at Oakland Park Stud. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571. That's 0427 789 571.
Corporate Bruce and home run, but Northerly, Danny Miller, pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway from old comrade Lizzie Longlegs, flashed up on the inside.
Yes, welcome to Racing Rewind. Keep those texts coming in on the Retrovision text line 0427 789 571. Where's Cameron and Michael Heaton join me this morning. Good morning, lads.
Hello, Marty, Michael, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning, boys. Great to have Wesley in the chair this morning.
Certainly is. Change of positions. I've never seen you playing over in the forward line before, Michael. You might be able to scrounge a couple of goals over there today.
Yeah, new territory here. Or when I do inside running, I get shuffled around depending who's in. Scott likes the chair. Wes is in. Cobb. This is Cobb's chair all the time, so I get just off the bench. I get thrown around wherever. A bit of a utility.
Yeah, Cobb's always a forward line player. And Lockie Taylor, well,
creatures of habit.
Little forward pocket. He was in a bit of form yesterday. Declared Rejuva King from the yard and also on Unhinged, and it got the money at big odds. I think, were you on it again?
Yes. I couldn't believe the price. Michael tipped Rejuva King last start. And I had to congratulate him because I thought it was a $4 chance and I could not believe the price. And then yesterday again I thought, well, this should just win again, and all of a sudden I've taken a price which was under the starting price. I suppose in the end a winner is a winner, but at the same point in time I just couldn't believe what price it got to.
Were you confident at the 250?
I thought it was going to play a part in the finish, but the confidence levels weren't that high.
Actually got shuffled back to last at the 250. Was still a really good win. But it was a good day out there yesterday, weather-wise. I was out there for the races WA, and it's the first sunny, dry meeting I can remember for several weeks. It was a good feel around the place, and I think the track played relatively fair there as well. No leaders won, which was surprising, but I think horses were able to make ground. We had a number of box seat horses win as well.
Was the fence okay?
I thought that it was a lot of jockeys that appeared to be trying to get off the fence, and Universal Pleasure was the only one all day to have won up the rail. So I think it was better off the fence for sure.
Yeah,
and you could just even horses. A lot of leaders were. Brandon Wheeler and Vane Tempest was trying to get off. Bold Success led, and actually he led and won, but he veered right off into the middle of the track. So that rail. Perhaps not the place to be, which makes Universal Pleasures win all the more better.
From the steward's room, no suspensions. Whip rule breach. Jockey Paul Harvey was warned using the whip on one consecutive occasion prior to the 100 metres. So easy day there for the stewards, or not an easy day, but a clean day for them. Are we seeing the emergence of a really nice horse here in Ginger Flyer?
Absolutely. That just an absolute will to win, that mare. She's been a surprise packet for mine, the way that she's been able to progress through the grades, and there was a little bit of a weight swing against her yesterday, and on the straightening you'd think that Savage One was just going to run away from them, but to her credit she knuckled down, gave the runner-up 3 kilos, gave the third-placed horse 2 kilos. She actually had more weight than the first 4 across the line. It was a really good win, and 1,400 to a mile, she appears to be effective.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, I thought there might have been a little bit of, what would you say, the first 4 in betting I thought possibly somewhat suspect, 16, and they've run 1, 2, 3, 4, so I got that completely wrong. But like you, Michael, I think the victory of Gingerfly was very, very good. Strong win. No apologies, performance was super. We'll talk about the race later on. Yep. But Simon Miller's got her flying, and Holly Watson's got such a great association with Gingerfly.
Holly just rides that mare so well. She gave her an 11 out of 10 last start, and then yesterday as well. Terrific ride from the draw to land in the box seat. I think Gingerfly will go to a 92 rater now, so placement-wise, it's going to be interesting. I would love to see her in those mares races, perhaps in at Ascot. I think she's an ideal candidate for that. She'll a 92 rater. She'll get really well in under set weights, and 12 to a mile, even 1,800, she could play a part.
Exactly. Race number 1 was the free entry to Belmont Park Plate. It was over the 1,400 metres.
Over on the inside, Mojo's Luck softened up by Union Jack, who quickly headed it and races to the front. Union Jack over on the outside, Bird's the word. It now being popped the question from It's All a Rumour, who's getting a run on its inside. Down the outside, Uncle Gerard racing greenly. Cherry's a star poking through, and here's Mia Gusto with Rejuva King. They're right across the track. Uncle Gerard had hit the front. Uncle Gerard, now Rejuva King. Mia Gusto on the outside, Rejuva King. Uncle Gerard, Rejuva King. Rejuva King has 1.5 ahead on Uncle Gerard. Mia Gusto close up third, followed by Union Jack behind those.
Where's developing a nice record, Rejuva King?
Certainly is, and that was a beautiful ride from Brad Parnham. As you mentioned, Michael was in a little bit of trouble halfway up the straight, but got out, ran home strongly. Good performance. I love the ride of Natasha Faithful and Uncle Gerard. I thought she did everything conceivably right aboard Uncle Gerard. His performance was very, very good. And Mia Gusto also battled away well, but all honours to the winner.
Uncle Gerard, Jason Pateman told me the other day, we were having this discussion on Inside Running the other day, whether it was Gerard, Uncle Gerard, but he's told me it's Uncle Gerard Neesham. So
Gerard.
It's Gerard moving forward, but Rejuva King, pretty much a carbon copy of of the previous start win, threw back the fence, peeled off and let down really nicely. Just shows absolutely zero gate speed, this horse. I think he's slow out pretty much every start, and which doesn't really cost him his last couple, but you'd think even up to a mile this horse would be quite effective. Uncle Gerard improving with each run. Was a little bit wayward in previous runs. Still yesterday, he wouldn't really go straight. If he goes straight, he probably just about wins that race. I certainly think he's got really good ability. And Mia Gusto finished off well, drew the outside, had to settle last and hit the line quite nicely. But I think the first two across the line here were particularly good runs. Uncle Gerard, with his waywardness, has a bit of upside, and Rejuva King continues to get the job done.
Wouldn't discount Bird's the word. Wide the entire.
Very unlucky, yeah. It probably ends a prep run for him as well, going off of that.
Race number 2 was the Tab Touch Westspeed Platinum Handicap over the 1,200 metres.
Rain of Fire starting to work into it. Then came Carabania. Keep Attacking follows Rain of Fire, and Aldelar relegated to last. Astro Warrior, Warwick sitting there as quiet as a church mouse at the 275. Draws clear of Ultimate Command. Forest War, Rain of Fire. It's starting to finish full of running down the outside. Further back is Keep Attacking. Rain of Fire, Forest War, though, have ranged up. They've grabbed Astro Warrior. Rain of Fire, Forest War in a ding-dong go. They'll split it. Rain of Fire. Rain of Fire has just won from Forest War. Astro Warrior third from Keep Attacking.
Yeah, Rain of Fire, terrific to see the Forest family colours winning there yesterday, beating Forest War, Astro Warrior and Keep Attacking.
Yeah, good win. Sat back in the field, ran home strongly. Forest War given every conceivable chance by Taj Dyson. He rode Forest War perfectly, but Rain of Fire showed a great deal of ability early on, Michael. 2 wins from his first 2 starts, and was always contesting good events, and then dropping back to a Westby Platinum yesterday looked awfully hard to beat, and raced accordingly.
It was the lowest grade he's ever raced in his 23-start career, which is just remarkable. I'm pretty sure he won perhaps on debut his first couple of starts on Saturday, so he's never raced in a midweek before, never raced in a Zero Metro win race. Until yesterday, and he raced in a WA Guineas, I think, from memory as well. But I remember one day early in his career, he bolted in by several lengths, a really nice type, but for whatever reason, just went off the boil a little bit. But hopefully he can go on with it. Now, yesterday was a good win from Forest War. You're a part owner in Forest War. Were you counting the money halfway down the straight?
I just knew the Rain of Fire would get home.
Yeah.
But look, Taj did everything right. It was just a perfect ride.
Yeah, it was a good effort, Forest War. And Astro Warrior racing well. Keep Attacking had a lot of admirers, was started, I think, second favourite. Drew the outside. Paul elected to go back to last. I thought he was travelling the winner on the straightening. He travelled into things really, really well, but just appeared to peak on his run at about the 200 and ducked in. He's had several runs now. I'm pretty sure yesterday was the last run of his preparation, Todd said yesterday, but I think he can come back a really nice horse next time in. The rest of these horses probably are on their mark, and it's interesting. We've been saying the last few weeks now that these Westby Platinum races, it's usually the progressive type of horses that are winning these races. Well, yesterday there was a class horse like Rain of Fire dropping back in grade and got the job done. Previous weeks it's been those newly turned 4-year-olds, the new kids on the scene.
Okay, the Retrovision text line's open, 0427 789 571. Also get your Sunday saviours in. You've got until 9 o'clock today. And this one is from Brian and Mullaloo. Reign of Fire, another example of horses backing up off the heavy track, winning on good tracks. And yes, that is a case.
That's one of yours, isn't it, Mart?
It is one of mine, but it was interesting to hear Colin Webster questioned by Britt about that after the races, and he said he had no problems with the horse being able to do it.
And I think the next winner, the next race, Macanto, backed up off 7 days as well off that heavy track and got the job done.
I thought Macanto was a good chance. We'll talk about that in a bit. Bill from Baldivis, not very stylish in the members upstairs yesterday. A very rowdy group, had too many drinks and their language was appalling, not very classy. Perth Racing, where was the security that we pay for as members? So obviously, was either of you there?
No.
I was there, not at members.
No. Well,
it's a valid point.
Yeah,
You're there to enjoy the races, and you expect that behaviour from all patrons is acceptable. So that sort of behaviour is not acceptable, and obviously you need security.
And particularly in the members, even if you're just in the public, it's not acceptable.
No,
but to be in the members, then, yeah, you can understand why Bill's not happy at all. So I'm sure Tony Favazza and the team will look after that and get it sorted. Race number 3 is the Bowls of Sport for Life over the 1,200 metres.
Swings at the top of the straight, took them past the 400, 3/4 to a length clear. Don't Fuss around their heels. Here comes Mercanto, 2 lengths to Corn Cob. Glasgow Girl further back, solid as a Holy Ghost. Inside the 250, Mood Swings, Don't Fuss, Mercanto. Don't Fuss have headed Mood Swings. In behind them, Glasgow Girl, Don't Fuss the middle, Mercanto the outside. Mercanto gets his head in front, and it'll be Mercanto. Mercanto has given Parnham an early double beat. Don't Fuss, Mood Swings. Holy Ghost got busy.
And that's Bradley Parnham, of course, and Mercanto wins for Chris and Michael Gangemi, beating Don't Fuss. Mood Swings, Holy Ghost back in 4th.
Yeah, good win, and Brad just gave Mercanto every conceivable chance. Had barrier 1, enjoyed a lovely run and was just too strong at the finish. Don't Fuss, Michael, from the Pierce stable, continues to race well, just cannot get a draw. I thought Don't Fuss was rated beautifully by Taj Dyson in the breeze. Looked the winner halfway up the straight, but Mercanto too strong. So Mood Swings, maybe a shade disappointing leading?
Yeah, potentially. The money for Mood Swings was relentless as well. Got plunged into favouritism, and Mercanto, I think, was about 250 out to 350 or something, the late flux, because of the support for Mood Swings. But I remember saying a week ago in this chair that Mercanto probably wasn't suited the way that race was run last week. He was making really good ground in that River Rubicon race and loomed like the winner, but that was when there was that fast lane down the middle part of the track, and he was laying in, ended up going towards the inside, which was a little bit like quicksand, and he still ran 4th, but only beaten a length and a half. But the way he was looming into it before he went to that part of the track was like he was probably going to win. But yesterday, I think things fell in his favour as well. The 1 out, 1 back horse, Corn Cob appeared to be really struggling and was under the bat at turning for home, which just allowed Brad to get off from the box seat position, peel out, and the race was over from there.
And I think Glasgow Girl missing the kick helped his position in run as well.
Yeah, it was just world perfect the way the race panned out, but Mercanto's still racing really, really well. That's another win this time in, but Don't Fuss, I agree, he's absolutely flying this horse. First up he drew 8 of 9, second up 9 of 11, third up 11 of 12, last start 8 of 8, yesterday 7 of 8. It's just remarkable, but he's been racing a lot against his usual pattern and still going really, really well.
Only needs to get a draw and he'll win a race.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that simple.
Yeah. He's just a Belmont Park horse, really, and he's a bit better at 1,000 metres as well. So yesterday 1,200, still a good effort. Mood Swings we've touched on, perhaps not a leader's day. That maybe that's the only leader all day was in a staying race, and the fence wasn't the place to be either. So perhaps in review there's a couple of excuses there, but on face value probably still a touch plain. And Holy Ghost continues to make really good late ground. That horse is going particularly well, as is Glasgow Girl, who got tightened up a bit late, probably should have run 4th.
On to race number 4, the Love the Bolo handicap, and this was over the 1,000 metres, and the race taken out by Universal Pleasure.
Down on the inside, the mare. She'll straighten up running fourth in front of Born to Rule in the middle. Followed over on the outside by the Anvil. Sunny Silk behind them from First Law Stable Secret. By the 350 and Double Jeopardy. Challenged by Ponyo. Universal Pleasure getting right up on the inside of those. And here's Sunny Silk starting to wind right up, coming down the middle of the track. Universal Pleasure bursting through with 100 left to go. Universal Pleasure rushes through against the rail and put pay to them too. First up, fine win by the mare. Universal Pleasure over Sunny Silk. Ponyo third.
I think Lockie was all over this as well. Universal Pleasure, listening to him from the yard as I was driving home, and gets the money at good odds.
Yeah, it certainly drifted, Mike. Couldn't believe the price of Universal Pleasure. She contested the Jungle Mist, Jungle Dawn last year. Obviously wasn't up to that grade, but Stefan Verhaal's done a wonderful job with this 6-year-old, and she blitzed them.
She did. Only horse to win up the rail all day. So that's another big tick for her. I'm actually going to make her a horse to follow later on today. I know she's a 6-year-old mare, but I just think now with her rating and what she's eligible for, she can get into these type of races, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her win a couple of races now. She's won a graduation before. It was over 500 days before yesterday's race, and similarly to Rain of Fire, class horse dropping back into these Zero Metro win races, and they both won. As you mentioned, the Jungle Mist, beaten a length and a half by Angelic Mist. That's pretty good form, and even running second to Queen of Soul in an Epona Stakes or Epona Classic, whatever that race is. It reads really well for these type of races. Sunny Silk, I think David Harrison's table is going particularly well without much luck at the moment. He there's who ran second or third in the Newmarket last week. The lowest rated horse last week that popped up at big odds, came down the middle part of the track, but Sunny Silk as well hit the line really nicely. Jericho Missile, that's one. Ponyo stuck on well in the breeze. Double Jeopardy, as we've mentioned, perhaps leading, not the place to be, but then again, Universal Pleasure came up the rail in this race. And the Anvil, I thought, made good late ground as well back in the field. I
wouldn't discount Agent J going forward, trapped wide, and wasn't beaten far at the finish, 3 lengths. I thought Agent J battled on pretty well.
Okay, no love Ponyo?
Yeah, sat in the breeze and did a good job. Sat outside of Double Jeopardy and beat him home, had a kilo and a half less than him, but was an even type of run. I was just super impressed with the way Universal Pleasure won, especially reviewing the way the track played on the day.
Ran to about 76, 77. You might want to add something to that on what you're saying, Michael, about coming up the wrong part of the track versus going into the race at 71. So the handicapper will have a good look at her. There's no doubt about that. Race number 5, the Christic Grabs Gold Handicap. This was over the 2,000 metres.
To try and pick up ground. They're clear 2 in front of Crescent City, who's going to get a beautiful inside run now as the leader hangs. In behind them, Sugar Cane, Truly Reliable, cut the corner as well. Bold Success led. 250 from home, Crescent City. Down on the inside, Olden keeps coming. It's still Bold Success, Crescent City. Olden deep out, Crescent City now goes up, joins Bold Success. Olden can't get to them. Bold Success fights, Crescent City comes again. Here's a ding-dong go. Give it to Bold Success. Bold Success, a half ahead, Crescent City. Olden ran third. They were followed by...
Fought on well, Bold Success to beat Crescent City, Olden, and Truly Reliable back there in fourth.
Yeah, look, I think he just needed to be rated up front, and he was. Lactar Amoli rated the horse to perfection, fought off Crescent City. I think many would have thought Crescent City was just going to go past Bold Success halfway up the straight, but Bold Success fought on bravely. Olden battled away well. I don't know whether we could say a great deal about the beaten brigade here. They were just beaten by a better horse on the day. Bold Success, another prime example of Peter's Investments Proprietary Limited dispersal sales. He's a 9-year-old now. Connections have had a lot of fun with him.
Oh, for sure. Out of all the Saturday winners yesterday, I think Bold Success is the most deserving of them. He's just been absolutely flying all campaign. He'd won 2 midweek races earlier in the preparation, but... just since stepping up to the Saturday grade, he's just been plagued by races run at really fast tempos. He's sat over the speed, only been swamped late. He's been beaten in a couple of photos. Yesterday, I thought it was a terrific ride. Lactar just picked him up and pretty much lifted him over the line. He threw the kitchen sink at him over the last 100 metres when Crescent City looked the likely winner. So well done to Lactar there. I thought it was a terrific ride and a well-deserved win for an informed horse. Crescent City sat in the box seat. Wasn't the place to be on the day, but they did veer off the fence a little bit in this race. So it did work out to the better going. Thought he had every chance, but still ran a nice race at his second run over the trip this time in. Olden continues to race well. Got quite keen in running, but I think he still finished off okay. But the rest of the field probably battled, to be honest. Although Sugarcane thought she held her ground, and your old friend Sugarcane, Wes, is she far away?
No.
Is she far away?
Leave me out. Leave me out. And, I look at a couple of others here. Bad Wolf. Where do we put Bad Wolf? Is he close to a win? Maybe dropping back in distance? He's a parker. I thought the effort wasn't that bad. Maybe he's close. Who knows?
The scratching.
Sorry, I think that's what happens when you get these stayers at this age.
Exactly.
They just go around.
Exactly.
Then you've got to try things, gear change, drop in trip, take them somewhere else.
Yeah, try to change their mind, change their attitude.
Our Norman would have probably been the likely leader had he started, so the race did change complexion a little bit after that, but bold success, quite an attractive price in retrospect.
Okay, Retrovision text lines on fire, 0427 789 571. Regarding that race, Luca Willigi writes, Lacdar's strength was obvious over the final 200 metres.
He carried the horse for sure.
Yep.
Scoob from Scarborough, you'll like this one, Wes. I took your advice and went into Barbaro Butcher's first thing Friday morning and grabbed a couple of Red Empire fillets to die for. Cheers. There you go.
Beautiful.
Big cheerio there to Raff and the team out there. Good to see the advertising's working well.
The purveyors.
Yeah, fine quality fish. Hi, guys. It seemed to take way too long to get our horses into the barriers. Have we got enough barrier staff? Your thoughts? Cheers, Gordon. I think there's enough barrier staff. They've got to have a certain amount of barrier staff.
They do. They do need to have a certain amount. I'm not sure what that figure is. There are times, and I think they've got to be on their mettle all the time now, because we will get pushed off Sky 1 for the barest possible margin time-wise, and there is a quarantine period generally for Queensland racing. They can't have anything intruding, I think it's within 3 minutes.
Yep.
So, it's up to the stewards and the barrier team to be able to get them in. And I know if you go overtime, it's great because your turnover builds, but you don't want to annoy the punters by having them switching to Sky 2 all the time. So the onus is on us to get them in so we are ready to go at start time.
It becomes a balancing act because Sydney, particularly on Group 1 day, like the Winx yesterday, ran 3.5 minutes late. They are resurfaced for Group 1s running late. It's no coincidence.
No.
A lot of it comes down to as well when the horses leave the yard. I'll never pop barrier staff. I think they do just a remarkable job, and all weather conditions as well. Blistering heat in summer and torrential rain of late, and you see horses like Searching Rocks. I hope the boys got a carton out of that when they got her into the gates a couple of times, and she ended up winning through the winter. They do a terrific job.
Michael, it's interesting you bring that up because the barrier staff and the starters do have that relationship with the trainers. They know the horses who are recalcitrant and etc. And there is that conversation, dialogue happening all the time between the trainers and the barriers and the barrier attendants.
Michael brings up a very, very good point, leaving the yard at the appropriate time, because all of a sudden, if you're a couple of minutes late, it does make things hard, and we need to be getting them in on time, so they need to be behind the barriers on time.
Listening to Racing Rewind, it's almost 8:30 here in Perth. Michael Heaton, Wes Cameron, Marty Young with you.
You're listening to Racing Rewind, brought to you by Sessions, standing the 22-23 season at Oakland Park Stud. Breeders of demerit consider Sessions, who is also a son of the highly successful Longo.
Clear from Chat Electric, Girl and Showmanship in fifth. Special Reward making hard work of it. Up the rise now, Prime Candidate gets the upper hand from Band of Perth. 3 off to Chat. Showmanship 5 lengths away. McDonald starting to get busy on the 7-year-old, and he's starting to let down now. It's Prime Candidate 3 lengths clear from Showmanship, who's honing in. Prime Candidate a half in front. Showmanship levels up, went home best. Showmanship ran down Prime Candidate, rocketing by home into third.
Whereas I just thought it would slipped that one in because we didn't talk about the win earlier on today of Showmanship. Danny O'Brien and James McDonald combining decided to go to Sydney instead of Melbourne, and it was the right decision.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think what was most impressive from Showmanship was the manner in which the gelding chased. He really chased hard over the concluding stages, and you love seeing that in a thoroughbred. Now 8 from 10 for this showcasing 7-year-old, and I thought it was a brilliant win against Group 3 company.
Is that the first time he's gone their direction as well, Showmanship?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, that's super win. Like you said, the way he lengthened their first up, and I don't think he'd had the benefit of a trial going into that race either, so it was a really good effort, and hopefully he can measure up in the spring.
And James McDonald post-race said there was a lot of improvement in him.
Yeah.
And Danny O'Brien does, we've discussed it before, he tends to leave a fair bit to come in the horses first up, so wherever he goes from here on in, he's probably going to be very hard to beat.
And don't forget, that was his first run since the Wangoon, and the Wangoon was his first run in a long time.
So over 600 days.
Yeah. So top performance first up.
Back to the locals, race number 6, the Professionals Handicap, and this was over the 1,200 metres.
Towards the tail, Tishan Queen on the point of the home turn. 400 left to go, nursed into the straight. Cold Chisel now being asked to quicken, leads a length and a half. Let's Gallivant, Honeydew back behind them, trying to build. Mickey Blue Eyes, here comes Alsafina starting its run. Strike now getting up near the middle. Let's Gallivant, it hit the front from Cold Chisel. Alsafina, Honeydew keeps coming. It's Let's Gallivant, Alsafina, Strike now coming between them. Alsafina though gets the head in front. It's Alsafina with a winning return. Alsafina proved a little too good for Strike now. Also very good first up.
Yeah, good win, Alsafina. 4 starts, 3 wins and a third now for this chestnut mare, Wes.
And I think the beauty is you look at the form so far, she's only been up to 1,200 metres out of Delta G, so wait till she does get to a mile, and she's got plenty of scope before that to win more races. This was a very good win first up. She sat back in the field, ran home strongly, and was just too good for her opposition. Good win. Strike Now's performance was good. Let's Gallivant continues to race well, and Honeydew was handy. Not much separating the first 4, but I think when all said and done, Michael, all honours to the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Progressive type, having won 3 of 4, looks to have a pretty bright future. I quite like this race. It's only a graduation, of course, 1 Metro win, but I think there's a little bit of depth to it. I think Strike Now is a really good horse. I'm going to make him a follow. Gave the winner 3.5 kilos. Had to make his run in between horses, and I thought hit the line really well first up. Let's Gallivant. It's been a model of consistency. Had to do a bit of work early. Got to the breeze, stuck on well, and Honeydew was coming off a 4.5 length win, who obviously has a bit of ability. He didn't get a heap of room in the straight, Honeydew, but I thought still finished off okay. So the first 4 across the line, I think all have Saturday wins in them. And Tishan Queen finished 6th of 8, beaten 3.5, but thought hit the line quite nicely. She's only a Class 1 mare. She's raced on Saturdays her last couple of starts now and ran well. I think if she drops back to a midweek, wouldn't be surprised to see her get under the guard and perhaps run a cheeky race at a price.
Less said the better, Wes. That's enough?
That's enough.
Yeah, okay, let's move on now to... Well, no, I'd like to say, I agree with you, because going into the race, Honeydew, there was a good push for it off its last start win, and Let's Gallivant, they were both very impressive, but the market was always centred around Alsafina, wasn't it? Particularly on the day.
Yeah, it was a good race. There was a lack of speed on paper, so Let's Gallivant had a lot of admirers, but Cold Chisel was probably ridden against her usual pattern to find the front, and I guess Honeydew, having won 4.5 by 4.5 last time out on a heavy 8, I think the track was upgraded to a soft 6 by this stage of the day. She might just be a mare that really appreciates getting her toe in.
One from Brad from Melbourne. Was Honeydew in the wrong side of the track?
Well, she did settle in the box seat, but she didn't make her... I don't think she was on the fence in the straight. I'm pretty sure she worked off.
Okay, on to race number 7. This is the AFGRI Equipment Handicap. They were racing over the 1,400 metres.
Position of power. Over on the inside is OBH. Now Vain Tempest rolls away from the fence. Coley drove up near the middle. Carberry saw a run close to the inside with the favourite advanced, and he's starting to pick his way through them. Wider out is a Zero Demerits. 200 left to go. Advanced shot through. Grab Vain Tempest. Coley. Wider out is a It's advanced. Vain Tempest comes again. Vain Tempest Tempest and Advanced. Advanced, Vain Tempest, and now Alay and Zero Demerits. Zero Demerits, Alay have swamped them. Zero Demerits, I thought, got the dive in to beat Alay. Advanced and Vain Tempest.
Well, the way the race changed here, Michael, you would have thought they overdid this in the early stages, but comparing 1,400 metres, it didn't appear that way on time.
No, I think it was slower than the 1,400 metre race earlier in the day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the first races were a soft 7. This race was a soft 6. The last few weeks I haven't really looked at the times, to be honest, because I'm not too sure how, what they can really say with changing tracks and the like and different tempos and everything. But it was an interesting watch for sure. I think Macca did a good job. He almost got caught out with those horses just coming from nowhere. Zero Demerits and Alay, but Zero Demerits, to his credit, peeled widest around the bend. I think he was about 7 deep coming into the straight and just hit that fast lane, which we've seen down the middle part of the track, and was able to hold them off.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? You could hear it in Darren's call, the changing nature, and I was watching the race, I'm thinking, Advanced is home here, and all of a sudden the second leg of the quaddie, we're very, very tight with the quaddie with Alsafina and now Advanced, and then all of a sudden those two that were out wide, bang, they've just put the strides in and got going. You had the Zero Demerits in the quad? I did. That doesn't mean anything when you come to the last leg, but Michael. So all of a sudden that was beautiful. Zero Demerits and LA. Advanced, he looked the part going onto the track. He looked sensational. So I wouldn't be discounting him. Give him that run under his belt. Vain Tempest, I thought battled away all right. Coley, Blinder. What do we make of those two? I thought both Coley and Blinder had every chance. Coley, that way, didn't it? Yeah, it was back on the fence, but peeled off at the right time, got the split through, and just appeared to peak on his run, or just was perhaps a touch below expectation. Blinder sat 1-1, only a fair run, but I agree. I really like the effort of Alay. Both runs back this time in have been good. I think there's a win in him this preparation. Not saying he's a horse that's going to reach any great heights, but I think there's a win in him and he's eligible for easier, so I'll make him a follow. Advanced, as you mentioned, looked great. Had a compounding box seat horse, I think it was OBH, falling into his lap, turning for home, so Pat had to get around him and finished off really, really nicely on that less favourable part of the track, and was just swamped by those horses down the middle part of the track. What did you make of the run of Fangio? Fangio was back there last on the fence, was sort of a long way off them, it appeared. I'm not sure if she really, perhaps the track, I'm not too sure, but got going a little bit late, but I don't think it was a wonderful run. Did you like it? No. And Vain Tempest stepping up to 1,400 metres was always the query. I thought it was a really good run. She was wide early. I thought it was the right move to go to the front, otherwise would have been caught deep, and I don't think it was a case of not running out the 1,400 because she was coming back on the line. I thought it was a really good effort. She was just swamped by those horses with momentum coming late. And let's not forget she had 60 kegs on her back. And gave the first horse 6 kilos, second 4, and Advanced 5 kilos. A really good run.
On to race number 8, the main event of the day, sponsored by Amelia Park, the Blue Spec Stakes over the 1,600 metres.
They're about to set sail in the Blue Spec Stakes. Inside the 400, Savage One cornered first, a length and a half. Fanta down on the inside, Ginger Flyer looking for the way clear, and then No Apology. But Savage One led them down to the 220. Ginger Flyer can come off the fence now. No Apology. Savage One's the leader. Ginger Flyer starts to grit the teeth. She pins the ears back. She comes at Savage One. Savage One, Ginger Flyer, No Apology. Ginger Flyer, though, hits the lead. It's Ginger again. A hat-trick. Ginger Flyer won the Blue Spec from No Apology. Savage One. Then tell him we're coming a much better run.
Well, we discussed earlier on about Ginger Flyer. Let's break this race down, Michael.
Super win, 10 out of 10 ride as well. Drew barrier 8, and I think Holly Watson really knew where she wanted to be. She probably could have just taken the easy option and ridden her cold from the draw with the speed that looked to be on paper, but to her credit, she fired Ginger Flyer out. It was actually found the rail in front, and the speed was always going to go around her. It was almost like a trots race with the way Savage One and Fanta gave her cover and just put her right in the box seat there. Perfect ride, and still to her credit, she gave the other horses weight advantages, and she was able to get out, pin her ears back and run over the top of them, Wes. Yeah, good win. Look, take nothing away from the mare carrying 58 kilograms. Simon Miller's done a fantastic job with her. And look, she was just too good. I was taken by the run of No Apology. I thought it was a good, strong effort.
battled away well.
Up in grade. He's model of consistency, isn't he? He's raced well off 7 days. He won that race off 2 days going back a few starts ago. He's raced well off 21 days. Just a good horse, no apology.
Where are we putting horses like Tell 'Em We're Coming? We heard him get home late. Brother Paddy, he's a pro. Stafford's Lad, Taxagano, all stayers over the 16. Did they do enough?
I loved the run of Tell 'Em We're Coming. He's first up on that heavy track. He was very, very plain, and yesterday stepping up to a mile. At this time last year, he won a Farnley over 1400, but he's heading towards those Kalgoorlie staying races. But I thought I saw something there yesterday. He ran fifth, hit the line really well. I thought it was a good type of running. If he gets back on top of the ground there at Cal, I think he could play a part.
Just before we dig any deeper into the blue spec, let's go back and find out what the beaten jockeys had to say.
Lakta Ramali, Brother Paddy.
Oh, went really good in the mile. Next time, more distant will be as good as.
Jason Whiting, he's a pro.
He ran an okay race. Sort of drops him back to the right class. He should run a good race.
Thank you. Lucy Warwick, Savage One.
Yeah, ran a really good race. I was able to hold him a bit steadier than, more steady than last time. Finished off well and couldn't probably have gone any better.
Joseph Azzopardi, Dig Deep.
It was a bit plain today. Told him to see how he pulls up and then go from there, but something might have got a miss.
Sean McGrady, no apology.
Beautiful. Yeah, terrific run. Had every chance, but the winner just got the saloon run through. Once again, Jimmy's horse dropped off.
Brad Rawiller, Tell 'Em We're Coming.
Yeah, he ran great. That's his best run in 12 months, and he hit the line great. So, yeah, bring on Cal, hopefully. Cheers.
Thank you. Sean O'Donnell, Stafford's Lad.
Yeah, obviously way too short for him. Hated the track. It'll be good for the connections when he gets on a firm track at Cal, I think. So.
Pat Carberry, Red Army.
He ran really well. He had a tough trip. It's his first run for a good while, but he shows that he still wants to be out there. He felt a lot of pressure and he kept giving. He got a little bit tired the last 100, but I was really proud of him. Wish a few others had his guts.
Brad Parnham, Fanta.
Yeah, he's probably a little bit below where I thought his best was. I was happy with the way the race was panning out for me, but from the 600, Savage One was just able to drop me a little bit there, and he wasn't disgraceful by any means, but it just probably wasn't quite up to where I thought he was.
Okay, Michael, some of your best work there with the beaten jockeys, Blue Spec Stakes. But I'll tell you what, the boys were giving you a bit as well.
Yeah, no, they do a wonderful job. Always appreciative of the jocks. I think it's a really good insight as well.
Yep.
And as I think Sean said, no apology, had every chance, but it was a good run up in grade. Savage One, I think that's the first time he's missed a top 2 finish in the last 12 months, but he ran half-length third, was still a really good effort. Fanta's probably the talking point. First time all campaign, he hasn't found the rail in front. First time over a mile this campaign as well. I think both of those factors combined probably the reason why he ran fourth, but beaten 3 lengths. He probably was a bit plain.
Interesting comments there from Pat Carberry in relation to Red Army.
He was a good run.
Yeah, very good run. Wide the entire, hadn't had a start in a race. Had plenty of trials for 27 months.
Yeah, over 2 years, yep.
Yeah.
And he was off the 3 wide, no cover, back in the field, and still stuck on quite well.
I thought the comments of Sean O'Donnell were very relevant as well, as and punters should take that on board. Start looking for turnaround in form with all these horses coming off the heavy tracks, getting back onto top of the ground.
And Brad sounded really positive about Tell 'Em We're Coming. He's a good horse, Tell 'Em We're Coming, and like I said earlier, he won a Farnley Stakes sort of this time last year, but he's been set for a completely different campaign this time in, much better on top of the ground. I'm looking forward to seeing him get to Kalgoorlie and contesting those races over a little bit of ground, because I'm not too sure what sort of stayers we have at the moment heading towards the Cal round. I know there's several horses looking at Hannons, but in terms of the Cal Cup, I don't think there's a huge amount around.
Doesn't seem that way, does it? I just want to echo the thoughts of both of you in relation to the jockeys giving up their time for those comments after the race. It's sensational, and I know they've just finished a ride. They may not be happy to talk, they may be annoyed, something may have gone wrong, but to be able to give us their time, it's priceless. It's so good to be able to listen and get those comments, and you only need to pick out one little thing with what they say. It's great. So if they're tuned in today, thanks, boys.
Yeah, well done, Wes. And they're not just giving you yes or no answers either.
No, it's great, terrific insight, and it's not like they're obliged to do it either.
Exactly.
So they it's almost a privilege to be able to get their words coming off the track, and for the punters sitting at home on Twitter and wondering why their horse didn't go as well, if they listen to that, and it might make a bit more sense.
So I missed the post-race here. Did Simon indicate where he...
Simon's in Broome.
Okay.
He's been there a while.
I said that to Kelly yesterday. She reckons he's only been there a week.
Oh,
feels like.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But
any indication of where she may be going and what the plans are?
I was doing the beaten jock, so I actually didn't hear it. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I know pre-race when I spoke to Kelly for the races WA, she wasn't too sure where she was going. I thought that she might be a nice little Hannon's horse or something there at the Goldfields, but I guess that's still 2 months away, and she's been up a while, and she appears to like soft tracks as well. So she's an interesting one, but I don't think there's another one of these races, these 84 plus races coming up.
I reckon they're fantastic.
Oh, they're brilliant.
There should be more of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Horses like
of them.
Even though Dig Deep went poorly yesterday, but it gives those sort of horses a chance that are not up to weight for age grade, but they're weighted out of ratings grade. It gives them an opportunity to still race for good money.
Time to take a break. We'll come back with the last event, the BPL Perth Suns Handicap over the 1600 metres.
You are listening to Racing Rewind, brought to you by Sessions, standing the 22-23 season at Oakland Park Stud. Sessions has more runners in the top 2% of earners than almost all stallions in Australia, including I Am Invincible and Zoostar, as per Blue Bloods Issue 3 2022.
Pretty deep around the outside. Power of St George, Canny Jack near the rail, then Seduce Me back near the middle, followed by Green and Shady. Heart of Kerr, Arcadia Grace coming to the outside. In front of them is Marlies at the 300, and Power of St George let down to hit the front. Power of St George races to the lead over My Fury, Catalpa, Mr Mount Walker, Seduce Me, Marlies. Arcadia Grace is finishing brilliantly right down the outside. Power of St George about to be gunned down by Marlies. Marlies went to Power of St George, or bobbing finish. I think the grey mare might have just won in a tight go. Marlies, Power of St George, head bobbing finish.
Power of St George just failing to hold out Marlies, Arcadia Grace and My Fury. Sorry, Wes.
20 kilo, Wes.
It wasn't just that. I had a nice little double Alsafina into Power of St George, and then all of a sudden the quaddie going with Power of St George. I did a bit of form in the afternoon, and I thought, I like this. I think this will win. But I just knew he had to be saved up, because he seems to have a bit of an aversion that last 50 metres getting to the winning post, and all of a sudden it was like, petrol tank empty, seen the winning post, and that was the end.
It was a good effort. Still Power of St George. Marlee's surprising win for mine. Really nice ride. Was 1 out, 3 back. Came through the pack and got the job done. I guess she had been racing in... the previous start was behind Gingerfly, but beaten 7 lengths. And that day, trainer George Dupre advised for her to be ridden a little bit more positively from the barrier, and she settled handy, but it was just an even run. So, yeah, it was a bit of a surprise there yesterday, but Power of St George was 3 wide early, then it was able to get 3 wide with cover when My Fury was posted wide. Looked the winner halfway down the straight, picked on the post. Arcadia Grace, I think, is an interesting runner. This mare's now always had a bit of a knock on her for probably being overrated, but since they've stepped her up over an extra 100 metres last start, an extra 300 metres yesterday, and been ridden cold, her form, I think, has turned around, and she's been hitting the line really well.
Yeah, she's my horse to follow out of the meeting. I thought it was an exceptional run. Got back, ran home strongly, beaten at length at the finish. It was a very good performance.
My Fury was a tough effort. Was 1 out, 2 back initially, then just got shunted out, 3 wide, no cover. Was able to battle on for 4th. And Green and Shady's just always a little bit stiff. Got the job done the previous start, but more often than not, doesn't get the rub of the green. Thought it was a sound effort, but the rest were quite plain and disappointing. Mr. Mount Walker led the race and ended up being beaten 6 lengths.
A couple of other horses that I want to mention to you, Michael. Heart of Kerr, I just went back. Barriers this time in 10, 9, 13, 9, 14, 13. Just cannot get a draw. What did we make of that performance yesterday?
Consistent horse, Heart of Kerr, but it's just rinse and repeat, really. Usually has to get back, flood home late, be on me next start, but then invariably draws wide again the next start. It has to be ridden the same. Probably the sort of horse that will bob up at some stage, but very difficult to make a follow.
And Dorado did things wrong at the start again?
Yeah, it cost him there, ended up getting a long way back. I think it was about 5 back the fence in run in the end, which, wasn't the place to be at all.
Never Sober, beaten 17 lengths. Nothing in the stewards report, which is a bit surprising. That's a long, long margin to be beaten.
And it's probably something we've been on those heavy 8, even to heavy 10s in recent weeks. Yesterday started a soft 7, then was upgraded to a soft 6. Pretty sure we're having a nice enough run with the weather over the next week, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of the form reversals with horses appreciating getting back onto some dry surfaces.
Okay, Donnie, you should have caught up with Donnie Wes. He had a lay and Marlies, but no zero demerits. What did that quaddie pay?
No idea.
Okay.
Here we go, we'll have a look.
And he's also come in
7-2
with his next text. Shooting to win is rooting for you. Is that allowed? Obviously it is.
It's a double entendre.
Yes, it is.
It's or an idiom, I think it's referred to, so there's nothing wrong with it.
No, you hear it all the time, particularly in the States.
They love it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll look at horses to follow in a tick, but get your pens ready because we've got a few tips from earlier on in the program that we'll read out as well. But first...
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Righto, Michael, you seem to have a few.
Difficult day overall, but I've got 3 here I think we can be following out of the meeting. Strike Now first up. Thought it was a good effort to make his run between horses and give weight to the winner. Alay, both runs back this time in have been good. And Universal Pleasure, I think she can rack up another win this time in. Only horse to win up the rail all day.
Can't knock those 3 there, Michael, because I'm joining you with Strike Now. Good luck to Skinny Miller and Arcadia Grace. I thought that was an eye-catching performance to say that she won't be far from winning a race.
Okay, I'm with you. Universal Pleasure for me. Now, tips earlier on today. Harry Buchanan, he's going to Gawler, race 5, number 5, and then centres in on Mandurah, race 6, number 5, race 8, number 4, and race 11, number 5. And the best of those is race 6, number 5 at Mandurah, and that is Paddy Whack. Brad Hardy, he's Sunday Saviour. He's normally a meatloaf man, 2 out of 3. So now a race 3, number 3. Where is that? Oh, Musselbrook, I think it is. Race 5, number 3. And Launceston, race 6, number 5. So it's race 3, number 3, Nowra. I think that's Musselbrook, race 5, number 3.
Well, the one at Musselbrook's is $1.45.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That'll be the one that'll get beat. And Launceston, race 6, number 5. How often do odds-on favourites get beat? Even my horse yesterday, Wanji, $1.20. Got rolled, got caught out 3 deep, 1,400. No excuses, should have still been able to win. Run of a horse who may either doesn't get 1,400, over-raced early, 3 deep, couldn't get him to come back, or... might be end of prep run, not sure. Now, also earlier on today, the EPL tips, there was an interesting one, Man City to win and De Bruyne to score. He also thought James is our Premier League man. He also thought that Leeds, he thought Chelsea would win, but no confidence at $1.52. West Ham Brighton, he thought West Ham would win at $2.38. And that Legion Chelsea game, he went under 2.5 goals at $1.65. Newcastle Man City, he thought, $1.35 and De Bruyne to score. That was it there. And Man U Liverpool on Tuesday over 3.5 at $1.65. He's a ripper, James, isn't he?
He is.
From Fox Sport, knows his stuff. You know what amazes me with those guys? Simon Hill's the same. They've only got 5-6 hours from when those games are finished to when they come on air with us. There's 6 or 7 games that have been played, and it's like they've watched the entire game of every game, which is impossible.
We know they wouldn't have.
Highlights package.
Highlights package, etc. But it takes a lot of work to do it.
Absolutely. Now, Marty, I know that you like your Calcuttas.
Yes.
Tats Cup last night. I've just
You're
found
the Calcutta man.
Ronnie Brown. Wouldn't believe it.
What's he done? Who's he bought?
He's bought the favourite, Misty Lad. Looks like a good buy as well. What price is Misty Lad?
I'll get it for you in 1 second. Misty Lad is... No, he's not the favourite. He's $6.50. Seable's the favourite.
Sorry. He's bought 2. He's bought... I misread that. He has bought Seable.
Yes.
For 2,000, and the... pool is the first is over $7,000 to win, and Seable is the $2.25 favourite.
He's done it again.
He's too strong.
He should wear a balaclava into the Tats Club.
He's also bought Stratocrete for a little bit of insurance.
No, it's scratched.
Stratocrete, okay. Well, he's done his money there, but he has... that's a very good buy.
Okay,
Seeable.
so latest betting after scratchings for the Tats Club Cup today. It is a massive buy for Ronnie. Seeable is $2.25. One Misty Ladder, $6.50. Down to 7 Divine Beast at $7.50. 9 Fire at Will, the stablemate of Seeable is $4.80. And 10 Shoot or Shot for Helen Harding, Kira Yule combining there at $6.
Yeah, it should be a good race. As you touched, you spoke to Brock just before 8 o'clock, and his team's absolutely flying there in the Goldfields this year. Wouldn't be surprised to see him Quinella the Tats Cup today.
Thanks for coming in, boys. Thanks
Pleasure.
to Sophie, also to Brad Hardy. Have a great day.